Yo, everyone. Well, I am sorry I am late. I was having to finish loading it up. I'm just going to validate for one more second. So it's coming through here. It's technically going through that. That's fine. Alrighty. Okay. So let me validate that it's also streaming everywhere. Indeed, it is. Okay. So what do we got? Hold on. Let me pin the Twitter. Okay, day. So Twitter is rolling. Twitch is good to roll. And YouTube is going okie day. So, and Rumble is going. Nice. Okay. So we are live. I will give everyone a couple of seconds. So tonight's somewhat more analytical than I really wanted tonight, but I kind of have to, sadly, because that's just how the information is. So, but yeah, tonight's going to be an interesting night. I just disproved American First Post, so that's going to be an intriguing part of this. But yeah, so I think we may be able to get started. I'll give it one more second. I literally just finished a rehash of the last bit of what we need tonight. So that's weird though that it's not telling me that I'm on Twitter though, which is a lie. Okay. That's weird. I don't know why Restream isn't telling me that. It'll probably tell me in like 2 minutes. So anyways, I'm just gonna get started then, if that's gonna be the case. So yeah, hello everyone. My name is TheologyMatters. You can call me Eli, and for my people in District 6, I am The Anomaly. So tonight we're gonna have a 2-3-parter. So three events that I kind of want to talk about. There was only really 2, but I'm adding another because of what happened this week. So first I want to briefly, and I mean brief, like no more than 10 minutes, I would suspect, about the Annunciation Catholic shooting. Because I want to reiterate some point that I made in my Instagram reel, because I had to talk with someone about it briefly, because they didn't understand that what I was getting at wasn't what it was there. Afterwards, I want to talk about the gay marriage and the possible Obergefell fall. That is the big content. So much so, I got a presentation, and by that I mean a full thick PowerPoint going. So that was uploading about 9 o'clock. So I was almost ready. It was this close. And I had a jerry rig the last 10 states. And then I kind of want to talk about the Indian, but I feel like after I talk analytically for 3+ hours or 2, not 2, 1-ish plus hours, I'm probably gonna get tired. So, and honestly, it's kind of old. But I'll talk about it anyways. I'll just do it. I'll see. There's a fair chance I will. I'm game ho tonight. That's 2 different phrases. So anyways, I am then, I guess, gonna get started. So I don't have anything for anything other than the gay marriage thing. So we'll get into that whenever. That's so weird. It doesn't tell me anything about Twitter. Excuse me. So let me pull though up. Or actually, I'm not pulling up anything, am I? Holy crap! How does this have 93 impressions? Yow. Sorry, I'm just looking at Twitter. It's got about 100 views already. Wow. Okay, so we're gonna talk. Sorry, hold on. I just realized I forgot to send out the thing in a different link. Give me like 2 seconds if everyone can give me that. So I need this. I need to hit you, and I need you, and we need to open up a different app. I'll have to come back to that. Oops. Okay. So I sent that. Good grief. Um, that was really sad. I wrote in the message, I sent it, and then I forgot to send in the link from YouTube. So that's funny. But anyways, so I'm gonna get started. So first we're gonna talk about the Annunciation Catholic shooting. So like many conservatives, I have the don't talk about until more facts show up because I think the reactionary is not exactly wise. Um, heat in the moment stuff. We have the time to think. We still are gathering information. As an engineer, if I was to do this without consult, just on whim, it would not be the solution. So because of that, I like to hold myself because usually some stuff comes out because like with the left they try to say like, oh, it's white supremacy, and then we find out it's a black person. um but with the Annunciation, I kind of want to talk about one thing that I can talk about without knowing anything about the facts other than that two children have sadly passed. um we as Catholics must pray for them, um, that they receive their martyrdom, and for all we know, they may be joining Father Stanley Rother in the martyrdom of like the first Americans. Um, but yeah, one of the things, and I'm kind of slow on this because I don't really have notes, nor do I really have like an idea more than one. So if I feel a little disjointed, that's purely because of that. Because I wasn't going to talk about this, but I kind of felt like it was necessary, especially after I saw some bits of what the left were talking about, and I had to half agree with them. And in that, the left has been obviously they're trying to push gun control. That was like the first thing. Using the dead children as props is just a go-to for the Democrats. But they started to attack the prayer, thoughts and prayers, right? That's the slogan that usually gets thrown around because thoughts and prayers are only what we can provide at this moment, right? We're still gathering information. We're starting to figure out who this person was. We're starting to find out that she was a he, and he somehow got guns, which I still haven't heard seen a report of how he got his weapons, which I would be wondering to see who. I heard something that the mom was divorced, even though she was Catholic. So I don't know what. There's a lot of things being thrown around, which is why having an opinion on this is kind of hard because new information shows up all the time, especially in the early days. Because this only happened Monday. Was it Monday? No, it was like Wednesday, right? Yeah, Wednesday. Because it was right after RCAA, so that's Tuesday, and I don't remember ever thinking of it then. But I had to agree with the Democrats and the left and how they say thoughts and prayers are not only what we should do, and I have to agree with them. And because I need to make this point, because for some reason, it kind of became like the Twitter waffles comment. So there's like a meme of like, if you say like, I like waffles, then someone says like, oh, so you don't like pancakes? And it's like I kind of had that situation happen to me where I said thoughts and prayers aren't enough, and I like agreed with that, but not in the same context. And so before I begin, I need to preface that thoughts and prayers are definitely on the to-do list. This is not a if or this is not a and or an or. This is a and. The left kind of they say it's an and, but the these are also from Catholic supposed Catholics who can't even follow what's in the catechism. So I don't know how much we could really say that they've been praying. Because they can't do the other crap, right? What makes you think the basics? Sorry, I need this is serious, Eli. Serious Eli needs to stay. Um, but the point that I'm making is that prayer is not bad. Prayer is never bad. But I agree with the left that we should be doing more. And that more isn't gun control because one, using the kids as props is pretty sinister. And two, I don't agree with gun control because you know what stopped the guy? The gun he was shooting everyone with because he committed unaliving because YouTube, right? Um and of course, what was the first thing that showed up? Police with guns, right? Like I don't need to get into there are other people who are going to get into the pro Second Amendment debate. I don't need to get into that. But what I want to talk about is that the conditions for I forgot his name. And honestly, I don't need to. The evil that exists in the state. The only reason that he was able to do what he did is because of situations in Minnesota that allowed him to be kooky and be considered sane. It's coming to find out that he was a trans guy, and then the journals just what is he drawing? Like if you saw that, you'd generally be a little weary. Now if it's on a bathroom stall, different story. But there's some weird writings in the Russian trying to hide, I guess, what he was writing. Um, it's it's off. Let's put it that way. He was not on his right settings. And he does this horrible thing. And there's, I don't even know if the death toll has climbed. I hope not. But Minnesota is probably a bluer state. It's funny to watch Walls and the lieutenant governor try and be all like, we are so heartbreaking to lose children. And yet at the same time, they are the ones that have allowed the transgenderism within their state to allow the man who thought he was a she to be what he was and then shoot everyone because, you know, you need a person to activate the weapon. To give this a magic example, there's like equipment cards. They're not usable unless you have a creature out on the field. The creature is what attacks you, not the artifact. And so I think and what I wrote in the video, we need to do more in our governments to ensure that this doesn't happen because the transgenderism has been able to happen for quite a while, for crying out loud. Even the Republicans are now slacking on it. And really the deaths of the two children are on the Republicans because there is no morality for them anymore. They are starting to quake over into populism. And so now we're getting into this where transgenderism is all right. Or at least the homosexuality, which is just the parent of it. So I think we should do more, which is what my Instagram reel was basically saying, is that we need to get in the power in order to protect our people. Like, somebody wanted to talk to me about how, well, if we really want to, what we should first do is protect our kids. Protecting our kids requires action, which is going to be which is something I've talked about on this channel like 20 times over, right? Action. What are we going to do, right? And I specify we for reasons. What are we going to do, right? Because like we can have all these plans. That's great. But what are we going to do? Because we could talk about these plans of this and that, but unless we have something to activate them, what are plans but drawings? Like, what good is it if there is no reality of it? And that is what I was proposing in the Instagram reel of that, if we truly wanted to help our country and to um, memorialize the two children that died, who I think today they just found out who it was, then we should be trying to make sure that that attack is the last attack. And that is going to require us to get involved. It's going to require us to stop some of this madness. The transgenderism is responsible for a lot of this evil. That's just what it is. And if you're going to say, well, what about people's feelings? We fight for the truth, and we just placate. We can't placate them to believe a lie. Like, if you told your kid that the sky was green, would you, or he said the sky was green, would you not say, "What are you saying? It's blue. Just look up." Right? And so that was what my first bit was. And then I kind of got contested on it by a little bit of some older people. And the one thing I have to say is I think the reason that maybe a younger generation seems a bit more vocal on this is because we're tired. And I say that because when people say, "Oh, well, we just need to pray harder." Maybe it's because I'm young and I've been sitting what I feel like on the sidelines for a couple of years, but I'm kind of done with just the cop out, because it is a cop out. The cop out of, well, we just need to pray harder. Because I feel like that's just an excuse for the older generation to be lazy. Um, it's just an excuse for them not to engage with the culture in order to just like outsource the problem to God, which, yeah, God can do things, but he also uses people too. And in that, he helps a nation with people. He did it the entire book of Judges, right? The entire, like, a new judge showed up every now and then to help this or that. Moses, David, oh gosh, for crying out loud, Jesus himself. Um, it's like that he's always used people in order to do his will. But to say that, well, it's okay just to sit back and watch all of this happen, I just think that's a cop out. And it really goes to show you just like the mentality of the two generations. Like, we talk about, like, I know last week, what was it? I was talking with Joe Enders and all, and we were talking about the boomers. And like, people can have boomerisms. And yeah, I think anyone at 40 over, it's like they've got a little bit of this boomerism, because like, I'm done. And I'm barely 24 now, and I'm kinda tired of some of this bull crap. I'm kinda tired of some of these right-leaning people, even Catholics who can't get off their fat ass or, like, actually, like, do something productive. Instead, they have to, like, I don't know, make a TikTok about make a TikTok where they're dancing and they've got some music and talk about praying for the children, and then it's like, then she get railed for making a cake. But ding ding, right? So it's just, to me, I'm tired of this like cop out that the um older generation has, where it's like, well, if we just pray hard enough. And it's like, maybe this is where I'm young and I'm a bit more naive and I'm a bit, I wouldn't say in my faith, but less I wouldn't say less trusting, but like a little bit more deliverable focused. And right now I feel like we're losing the war, the battle. And I'm kind of tired of this waiting game where we're sitting on the sidelines hoping things will change. And maybe the problem isn't that we are waiting on the savior, but the savior has delivered us and we just need to go out. And that is kind of something that in the channel I talk about quite consistently, where I talk about we need to actually engage with the system. Like the only reason that the transgenderism happened is because of walls. I think for crying out loud, hold on, let me look at that real brief. I have a presentation from somewhere. Um, you know what? I'll just pop it open. I need to get to nope. Minnesota. One more. There we are. What's Minnesota? Okay, so Minnesota, the state's relatively split, right? That can change. Like it's got Governor Walz, right? Walz. He was Kamala's former VP pick. Do you not think that we could like, I don't know, take them on? And it's like we're getting to that stage, and I haven't looked like I have in Oklahoma, but I bet if I look through Minnesota, there are probably some people who could be tackled. There are probably some Republicans that are weak that could be outdone. It's also Minnesota where, let's be fair, there's a lot of Somalis, which is also just weird. Um, so that at least is my. So just to rephrase, because I feel like I'm losing my cool. Sorry, I'm just peeling off a wart. Okay. Um, to repeat, pray, but prayer without action is uh, uh my brain wants to say gay, but prayer without action is just misplaced will. And I'm hoping that we have a resurgence, which is one thing I've talked about on the channel of that younger guys step up. Like I talk about not being the boomers for the younger generation. And, you know, the younger generation is growing up and now they have to worry about getting taken down. And the problem with that is then would we actually have the other generation or are we just going to watch as the world burns more? And that is, and so I kind of want to do what I've always done on the channel is I want to encourage the younger generation to step up and actually take on like like with myself. I currently have nothing to my name except just that, my name and my word. I can afford to take the risks because I don't have anything attached to me. I don't have a family. Um, well, besides the one I was born into, but I don't have, you know, a income. I don't have a household to ensure that I make a certain amount of income or anything. There are plenty of you that are politically savvy who could totally take on this battle. But the question is, do you choose to? And that is where I'm going to be challenging you that you do. And I understand some of it might be a losing fight. I get that. But it's a losing fight if you don't even try. At least if you fought, you have a percentage. It may be only a percentage, but at least, but God can do more with less, right? The boomers can pray for you. And for the boomers, you can continue to pray, but don't be a stumbling block. We're going to end this once and for all. That is a guarantee, probably, that a lot of younger generation Gen Z guys will say and agree to. Transgenderism is going to end probably in my lifetime, assuming God is fortunately giving me the time to live, because I can be recalled tomorrow, you know. So yeah. So I think that's really, I think I'm making sense, and I hope I am making sense. So yeah, pray and action, but not gun control because that's not going to do any good. Worthy action is what I really want us to get on. So, with that, I think that's it. So we're gonna get into the real content of the day, unless anyone has anything they want to spiel. Twitter, if you are there, I cannot see you tonight for whatever reason. I hope you're there. Um, yeah. It seems you are. So, anyways, but yeah, we'll get into the big thing. If no one has anything in like 20 seconds, I'm going to take one brief look at my foot one more time because I had a plantar wart, and somehow the next 2 days after I like lost it in the shower, and so I think I just took a shower again and I lost the remnants of it again. So yippee me, which is very fortunate because I was gonna start running and then I found out, oh hey, yeah, you can't move your foot, or you're walking with a gait now. So, but anyways, um, but yeah, just final thought for the enunciation because I'm not gonna really talk about anything more in it, besides the fact that I want to know where he got the guns from. Is that we need to do more. Thoughts and prayers are good. I'm not denying that, but we can do more. But not gun control. That's not going to help anyone. But we can eliminate some of the social factors that led to this. But that's going to require Minnesotans or Minna. Don't they have some weird word, Minnesotites or something? It's going to require you guys to step up. So, like as I said with Vivek, I could run for office in Ohio and take on Vivek. The problem is that I'm not an Ohioan. I'm an Oklahoman. I'd be like Valentina Gomez. The only difference is I actually sound competent. And yes, it's a dig on her for all the good reasons. But it's like it's going to be up to Minnesota to answer the call. And I hope you do. I doubt it. So prove me wrong. I'd love that. I'd love you to prove me wrong. Because if you prove me wrong, then it's probably something awesome happened that I didn't think would. So, anyways, moving on after I take one glance at my foot. Good grief. Okay, so I like how I said brief, and I think I talked about it for like 20 minutes. So we're gonna talk about quickly once I reorient this back. All right. Sorry, my foot fell asleep, which is weird because I've been picking at it. Okay. So you guys can hear me. Yeah. You're just hearing a few. Okay. So this is a different oh wait, I forgot. Sorry, I forgot a thing. I have to do a thing. Excuse me. Because um I have to do a thing because if I want to trim this up and post it, I'm going to have to. That's the wrong folder. So, political, duh. So, I'll do it. It's fine. So, anyway, so this should be when I get this actually going. So, we are going to have a okay, day. So, excuse me. So, we're in the big original idea. So, this is a different style. So, I've done a lot of, I call them takedown videos. And that would be like when I was talking about Vivek, Mace, Gomez has a video, Drummond has a video. I'm going to get on to Charles McCall next week, or not next week. I think it's like 2 weeks. So, I completely forgot I need to do some maintenance reporting, but I'll do that after. Someone can remind me after that I totally need to do that. But I've done a few. Oh, Vivek. Did I say Vivek? Yeah, Vivek, Mace, Gomez, Drummond. Marshall Blackburn's getting one. I don't even know if it's really a takedown though. It could just be a let's look at what you are. And then I got McCall coming, so that's like so I've done a few of the like who are you candidates and takedown. But I call this one statewide because I literally do what's kind of hinted at. I look at every state statewide. I look at the nation, through the statewide. So statewide, we're looking at gay marriage. Now, why am I talking about gay marriage? Is it because I'm very straight? Yes. But it's actually talking about gay marriage because of the fact that gay marriage because Obergefell is potentially going to be overturned. There was some reports that might happen. So everyone's getting nervous because after the Dobbs case, everyone's worried that gay marriage is going to be somehow removed. So, excuse me. So I just want to go through because there were a lot of people talking about it. So I just wanted to briefly look at it because a lot of people were going to just talk about per se it going away. I wanted to get down a little deeper and technical. So, and this is why I say this stream's going to be a little heavy because it's going to be a bit technical. Fortunately, there's only like 40 states that I actually went through. 38. Sorry, 38. I skipped 2 while I was doing it because I was running out of time. I'm very sad on that. I wanted to get through all 50. I literally did Friday because I didn't have time. I forgot why, but Wednesday I only did like 3. And then I only got to like 20 last night. So I had to do about 20 more today. Um so yeah, but I want to but before we can go anywhere, we kind of need to discuss like a review. So like gay marriage. So it really came about, right? Gay marriage came really about because of Obergefell. So Obergefell is the federal ruling. It was done in about the 2015 where gay marriage was then legalized across the board. So this meant that Oklahoma's 2004 ban is kaput, or it is superseded. So the federal law beats state law, and state law says it's banned. Federal law says it's allowed, and that is what we take then. So Oklahoma, which I'll use as an example, it has statutes in our laws to ban same-sex marriage. So now with Obergefell going, that may be doing what the Dobbs did, which is send it back to the states, and that it was a federal overreach. And due to that, there's going to be this host of states who now have different dealings with it. So, like with abortion, it's not a leviathan; it's a 50-headed hydra. So, my question though is, if it's a 50-headed hydra, how many hydra heads are left? And so, that is basically what I'm going to be answering tonight. Buckle your seats though, because it's a little rough. And by that I mean we took some L's and some dubs. And actually, funny enough, I was able to prove American First wrong. So that's gonna be a fun thing. Excuse me, because I just did the calculations like 2 seconds ago. Now, gay marriage, right? Now, I want to talk about this because there's been like two different there's been some commotion with it. If conservatives need a reason, gay marriage is considered intrinsically disordered because it goes against the natural law, and that is of what you are. Every man gets with a woman gets with a man. If you feel an attraction to the other, that the attraction does not necessarily become evil unless enacted on it, which is differ from the Protestants who think just because you're attracted to guys means that you must be sinning. It's only if you willingly participate into it. That could be in thoughts, words, and or thoughts and thoughts and actions. So if you're currently sucking, then bad. If you are chaste and you are like married to a woman, but yet you have same sex attraction, then you're fine. There's there's probably people better who are far more theological on it. I just wanted to briefly talk about it because that usually happens on Twitter where there'll be I think it's like Smash Balls. We'll talk about that if you're same sex attracted, that somehow like is the same thing as be actively being homosexual. It's like no. They're two different camps. One is active and one is could be active, but they just need to control themselves. Just like a straight dude, like a straight dude can be attracted too, but that doesn't mean that like just because he's attracted to a straight woman, that means that it's evil, unless he thinks about like ripping her clothes off and stuff. So yeah, there was another point that I wanted to mention because I mentioned the catechism, but what was the other one? I was gonna mention the catechism. What was the other one? Um, gosh. So this was in 2015. So it's been about a decade. This is what I get for not writing this down first. I focused on the meat before I focused on the bread. Um, gosh, I can't believe I'm forgetting. I'm looking over here just at the catechism, hoping it like tells me. I don't remember. Wow, that's sad. There was something about there was something about something. Gosh, what was it? Because we talked about the same sex attraction. We talked about like why it was there. Let me just go back to it then. So yeah, we talked about like why it came about. We talked that it may be getting kicked. So that should do it. Like I'm trying to think. There was another thing I wanted to mention. So oh, this is American First post. So this is what I got from American First. And so this kind of was like what I was thinking of doing more or less. And then he did it. But then I was kind of looking at the map and I kind of was like, doubt. Because I've looked at abortion maps and for some reason there's a few states where it's not even though it should and it's should when it's not. So I was like, screw it, I'll make my own. And so that's essentially where the main part of this video is going to be is me validating this map. So now I want to report quickly though that I think it's ironic that so the dark red does shoot, what was it? Dark red is that it will be likely banned, and then bright red is it will be banned. So for some reason, Colorado, this is why I question this map. For some reason, Oregon, which is right next to California in Washington, Washington is actually going to not um allow gay marriage. It will likely be banned in Oregon. And somehow in Nebraska, it's going to be potentially banned. It's in the Midwest South region. It's going to. I love how the South has perfect unity. Um, so yeah. But some of this map is a little bit funky. I think I forgot what else, but like New York and California, total sense. So we're gonna go through. So I'm going through every single state. Like, so that's why I say this is gonna be a bit rougher than it usually is because usually I'm like hit a few points. This is literally we're gonna talk about each state briefly. So I go through. Actually, let me next slide. So, um, excuse me. So what are we looking at? So this is a style. So this is kind of how every slide is going to be looking like. So we have a tally bar up ahead. So from each one, you're going to tell which side is going on. So if it's blue, it's going to go it's going to light up on that side. And if it's a state that's going to undo uh, gay marriage or it's going to be an enemy to gay marriage, it's red. So pretty, yeah, simplest with the colors. So the Democratic Party aligned with the gay movement and the homosexuality, and then the Republican, hopefully not. Now, I am skipping the related lawsuits because, like, in Oklahoma, because I looked at Oklahoma when the resolutions for the Supreme Court to look at it, and I talked about Oklahoma. I think the episode title is like Oklahoma is gay. Like, it was really that simple. Um, I l- in Oklahoma there was a lawsuit against the abortion ban, not the same-sex marriage ban, and because of that, I'm just gonna skip it because those are, like, a federal thing, there's appeals, it gets convoluted because it's, like, it's removed, but it's not because, like, we're so appealing that movement and yada, 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 it just gets so I skipped those and just focused on what laws were passed by the people. I focused on laws by the, state body because that indicates about this subject because that indicates intent. Amendments, a lot of amendments were done in about the 2406 region or the sorry, 04 to '06 region. So it's been about 2 decades. So I also had to look at repealing methods and seeing what people were doing to try and repeal the ban. We also took a look at the House of Representatives and how how is that structure made up of mainly of Republicans and Democrats because if it's very red leaning and yet they don't have anything like repealing excuse me the ban on same-sex marriage, then it's probably because of the fact that the House is filled with a bunch of um, Republicans who don't want gay marriage. I feel like there was something else on here that I wanted to talk about that I didn't write about. Um, but yeah, I went through. So I went through my logic. So my logic essentially for every state is going to be like who allows it, and then who um has things on the books now. And the reason that though early takes over young because like California, I think has a ban. Like to get a little ahead of myself, California has a ban, but it's gone very liberal in the past few decades, and so it's actually on the blue category. Just a little foretaste for y'all. But I looked through laws, amendments, and repeal methods. So it'd be like Control Z laws. I think that's what I wrote them down as. You're gonna see SSM, that's same-sex marriage. 1M a W is one man and woman. I had to shorthand after a while because I kept writing the same things. Um, I'm trying to think of what else is on here that I needed to state before, like, my methodology. But yeah, earlier usually took precedence because of the fact that, how would it be tomorrow? Because if gay marriage was abolished, tomorrow, what states would be its enemy and how many states would be its, allies? And so that was essentially the question that I looked up. So, but yeah, so we obviously the tally bar is there just to ensure that it's like if it's 50-50, then it'll be 25-25. But we'll see. So first state up is Alabama. So Alabama is so there was a law done in the 19 oh, right. So sorry, I just remembered while I'm on Alabama. That's what I want to talk about. So Obergefell kind of like squashed some of these. So it's weird. Alabama, they have a law in on the books, but a US district court. Sorry, hold on. My eczema's on my hands, not cooperating. So there's a lot of there's a recurring theme that a lot of these like bills, like even Oklahoma I talked about, where they would go to a judge and the judge would just say it's unconstitutional because of like the 14th Amendment, I think. And so that would get undone. And usually the timing would be around the 14s. So Oberfell though is like a final nail in the coffin for a lot of these amendments because it's up to the states, but Obergefell supersedes it to make it a federal problem, so or a federal concern. So, but yeah, so Alabama. Wow, the first one just looks weird. Um, so I guess so. Wow, I can't read my notes for Alabama. That's funny. So the governor, I think, did a executive order in like the 1996, and then it followed up by a signed law done by the state house. 2006, Alabama voted for amendment 774. As you can see, 81% of people voted for it. So that is an indication over 20 years ago of the states, and by that, the consensus of the people. Because it's so high and because the states were doing all that they were doing, and I didn't hear anything notifying that says that they were trying to control Z Amendment 774, I put Alabama in the red category, meaning that Alabama, if you are of same sex, if you are of the same sex or if you are a homosexual, Alabama is not the state to be in whenever Obergefell falls. Uh, all these are alphabetized, by the way, because I just had to work on a list. Oh, where I'm getting some of this stuff, right? I need to say that. So some of this I got a little bit from Wikipedia because they had stuff kind of queued up, but not necessarily. There's a lot of pages, which I went through the pages more or less. Ballotopedia is helping out, like in the bottom right. There's the elections, so I validated that all these amendments had voter tallies, except for the last 10, and I'll show you why. So yeah, for a lot, but so Alaska, I also put it in the red category because the in 1995, 1996, they restricted marriage to be just between one man and one woman. It passed both chambers, and there was no veto by the Democratic governor. And then some of the Control Z bills in 2016 and 2017 failed, meaning that we were trying to repeal those, which are essentially defunct because with Obergefell there, these laws don't really have power, but they're trying to remove it. So if Obergefell fell, that's a tongue twister. Then that it would be a free state. But the ban are still applied. 1998, there was a measure 2, which is done below, which you can see down here. 68%. It supported that banning same-sex marriage. The House has filed a repeal, but it failed to pass. And then, of course, Alaska's had mostly Republican governors since 2000. So I feel very confident in putting it in the red category. Um, we have the Republicans do share over a slight edge of a majority in the chambers of Congress in the state. So I feel somewhat confident that they would lean over there to the red. Now, Arkansas or Arizona was a surprise, mainly because on the American First post, it was red, but I actually put it in the blue category. So, and the reason that I'm going to say that is after I do this because I need to see my notes. So, Arizona banned same-sex marriage. That was over 3 decades ago. Now, Proposition 107, that was voter initiated and it support requiring a union of marriage between one man and one woman, and that failed 52%. Now, the legislature also initiated supporting defining marriage as between, and it passed barely, and that was 2008. There was a 13. Um, Wait, hold on. Did I read this wrong? No. Nah. Hold on. Voters initiated supports requiring a legally recognized union. Well, they voted no. Legislature supported defining marriage as between. Oh, there we are. That's why I'm in blue. That's why it's in blue. Right. So I also I love how I'm like adding modifiers as I'm doing this. So I wrote later, that's where I put it in blue. So yes, Arizona bans same-sex marriage, which is why I pause because okay, if that be the case, then what's the problem? The problem is that same-sex marriage is illegal or it's banned. Same-sex marriage is banned in Arizona. Um, but they don't ban civil unions, which is why I put that note down below with doesn't ban civil unions gay in Prop 102, which basically means that they are allowing the homosexuals, but they still allow them to do their stuff. So they're going against them and saying that, well, you can't touch marriage, but you can still be a homo. So that is where I put Arizona into the other category. I have a feeling. Hold on, can I look up proposition once again? What is it? Proposition 102. Just to validate. I can't believe that I missed that. I thought it was actually good. Hold on, ballot media. Let me validate. Hold on. Defining marriage as between one man and one woman. Okay. So they agree with marriage, the definition of marriage, but they still allow the civil unions to happen. So because of that, I put him in the blue category because if you're going to allow that, you might as well give them same-sex marriage because you're not really going after them. Great. You calling it's like calling like what do I want to say about that? It's like calling a pickle a cucumber. It's like, yeah, but it's not. Or it's like gosh, what is it? I don't know why I'm looking over here thinking I'll find the answer. But it's like it's basic. They would allow it. I bet if another proposition showed up, mind you, this is like 2 decades later. They've got a Democrat governor because they didn't like Carrie Lake, which I don't really blame them. And that I don't really blame them with that one. I don't like her either. So, but I wouldn't vote for a Democrat. Um, but yeah, but it's also the fact that like 2 years prior, they didn't like having the union and it failed, but then it succeeded. So like to me, I was like, I think if the because the Republicans are barely a presence in Arizona as well, they don't have a super majority. I think there may be a chance that they would be able to just do same sex marriage, but because they don't ban civil unions, they might as well be. It's an L for the anti same sex marriage. So now Arkansas is up. Arkansas is very red. 75% for Amendment 3. There's a law on the books that was signed by Mike Huckabee, not Sarah Huckabee. Voters initiated that one of the marriage between one man and one woman. There was a 2014 and 2016 for ballot measures to repeal the ban on the same sex marriage, but it never passed the signage stage or anything of that list. There was a resolution to ban on banning same sex marriage, and it passed with flying colors in the Senate, but the House voted no. And the reason that I put some dash R plus D is the fact that Republicans split off during this 2017, excuse me, to vote with the Democrats. And I think part of that also, like, I also want to talk about somewhat this, I guess, because of what happened here. Some of the Republicans are flocking over because they go, well, Obergefell, did its thing. So it's like, we can't contest it. No, you can. Like that's well within your state rights to say that the federal government has overreached. So you don't have to be because there's a lot of people because reading through these articles, there's a lot of people that are like, well, the federal government has already decided for us. So which is just a cop out to have an opinion. Um, so I just wanted to state that. Now the bill was introduced, but it was withdrawn, so they didn't actually ban it again. So someone got to them, but they 2 decades ago, 3 to 1, high probability, high probability that Arkansas would be a red state. Now we get to California, which really surprised me. One, because I forgot Arnold Schwarzenegger was governor of California. But Proposition 22, it supported defining marriage between a man and a woman. It had 61%. I was really surprised. It's California. I was expecting that in the other way, not the actual pure way. They even had a law to oh wait, no, that's a bad thing. They had a law that was going to approve same-sex marriage. That was vetoed because I think Schwarzenegger basically told the legislatures, like, don't piss off the people who voted for it 5 years ago. You know damn well that it's going to be the same thing. So they eventually Proposition 8 showed up, which it supported definition of marriage, amendments to define marriage as between one man and one woman, uh, Control Z plus legalizing same sex marriage. Okay, what? Sorry, I can't believe I wrote these, and I should know this. I did this last night. So I think Prop 8, because I'm looking at Prop 3. Prop 8 was to actually get rid of. It actually banned the same-sex marriage, and that passed with like 52. So we're seeing the decline as the years have gone on. 16 years later, Prop 3, which is very recent, Prop 3 repealed Prop 8, and Prop 8 did a ban on same-sex marriage. So if they recently voted on a ban, the or an unban gay marriage about a year ago, and it got 63% during the presidential election, high probability that would stay, meaning that California is on the blue side, which go fig. Now, Colorado is an interesting state. So it passed a law banning same-sex marriage. It was vetoed by the governor. It was signed by, I think, a different governor 4 years later in 2000. Amendment 43 passed with 55%, declaring marriage is between one man and one woman. Uh, we have Amendment J, though. It supported removing the one man and one woman, basically gender neutraling the language, and that had a 64. And that was very recent. That was six. What was it? 16? No, doing my math wrong. 18. Yeah, 18 years after we did Amendment J, 64%, meaning that Colorado's probably more than likely in the next year or so going to be voting the same during presidential election too, meaning Colorado's on the blue side. We also have currently there's a law to unrestrict marriage from the one man and one woman. Those passed and were signed, and that is recent, meaning Colorado is definitely in the blue. So, Connecticut law. Does anyone, just out of curiosity, before I keep going, does everyone enjoy the pace? Can I like speed up? Can I slow down? Should I just be throwing some highlights? But anyways, mind you, there's only like 30 more of these. So, there was a law recognized the marriage between or the marriage for recognize the right of marriage between persons of the same sex. That was signed. 2005, there was a civil union defined marriage that was also signed. Basically, full rights given for same-sex couples. It was never introduced though in 2007. 2009, they gender neutral the language, and that was signed. So Connecticut's always been on the side of the gays. So because of that, obviously, it's going to go over on the blue. Delaware, 2011 law allows civil unions. That was signed into law. Legalizing same-sex marriage was also signed into law, and that's it. That's the only things that have been done. And because of that, I'm gonna have to shove it over. And that was before Obergefell, though. So high probability nothing's changed. Obergefell has probably increased stuff. Florida, there was a law banning same-sex marriage and adoption from lesbians and gays. That became law. 2008, Amendment 2 passed. Yes, Amendment 2 passed. It needed 60% to become an amendment. That's why the abortion amendment that happened like a year ago in 2024 lost. It's because it was like 58, I think, a little less than that. Got 62, so it bans same-sex marriage and civil unions. They tried to repeal Amendment 2, but it got voided for some reason, which I forgot again. I think they tried and they failed. I think they tried to pass the laws. 2017, there was a law to repeal the bans on same-sex marriage. Those bills died. So there's a contestants in the House and the Senate to actually get those going. They've tried in 2017, 2022, 2023, and 2025. They keep trying and they're not exactly succeeding. So I suspect Florida is still upholding to its amendment. They tried to do a state amendment and also got voided again. So they're trying to remove Amendment 2, but Amendment 2 is keeping them in place. So because of that, again, I load them over into the red category because they've been on the track for a while. And every attempt has been dissuaded. And because they haven't made any indications that they can have success, we're going to put them over that they're having all the failure, meaning they're on the red. Georgia, Amendment 1 was in 2004. It banned same-sex marriage, passed with 76%. There was a state law that also exists. There were some times when I was reading stuff where state law was like an add-in. They'd be like, "Oh yeah, the Constitution also says a no." 2005, the Democrats tried to repeal it. It died in committee. The state constitution also stops the same-sex marriage, which is also where so you got a law, you got the constitution of the state, and you have an amendment, which I kind of doubling up on myself. Hopefully when they were talking about that wasn't the same thing. Because the amendment would be part of the constitution of the state. So hopefully it's not saying like, oh, the constitution has it. It's amendment 1 and back and forth. So, because of the fact that there's high majority, Georgia's in the South, high possibility it's going to be voting on the red side. It's going to eliminate same-sex marriage. It's already 2005. They tried and it lost. I didn't look at the numbers, but Georgia's probably in a high or a good red portions. So, excuse me. So Hawaii was interesting. So Hawaii refused to grant marriage license to same-sex couples. That was a case in 1991. And that was the first thing that happened, really. Later, Amendment 2 happened. Or is it question 2? Might be question 2. So, yeah. So question 2 is supported. The state has power to reserve the rights for opposite sex couples, meaning basically straight couples. That passed with 71%. Now, that was in 1998. 2013, legalizing same-sex marriage. It was signed into law. And then 2024, there was Amendment 1, and it repeals Question 2. And that passed the House and the Senate. And then I think it was voted on and it got 56. So Question 2 is no longer there, meaning also in 2004, Hawaii recently just said same-sex marriage is good. It's legalized. Due to that, they're on the blue side. Now, Idaho, specified marriage was between one man and one woman. That was signed into law. Amendment 2, defining marriage as between one man and one woman, and it is the only valid domestic union, which means civil unions are no, which, unlike some of these other states, they've been either complacent and allowing that, or, so I love this. This is far more. They succeeded. They lost in the Senate once, but then they came back and rebounded. It was considered unconstitutional in 2014, which is a reoccurring theme. For some reason, in the 2013 to 15, there was like this like weird, courts were going after these and calling them unconstitutional. And I think that's because there were a lot of gays just immediately filing reports, lawsuits the moment that these laws were passed. 2015, there was a law to repeal Amendment 2, which passed with like a 63%. That was unsuccessful. The state constitution also denies it. Okay. When I read that, I read a sentence that said the state's constitution. It better be somewhere else in the state's constitution, like in the marriage codes or something. But yeah, so Idaho, though, given that it's held recently, Amendment 2, I'm going to give it over that amendment, or Idaho would be not legalizing same-sex marriage. Illinois, sadly, though, won't. They have a law. It created civil unions, and that passed and was signed. There was a 2013 law to legalize same-sex marriage, which is way before Obergefell, because mind you, it was 2015. So anything before 2015 is probably going to give any indication, because the acceptance has grown since then, because some people are ignorant over what actually is same-sex marriage and like why it's actually bad and other stuff like that. Opinions gone up, but it's slowly started going down. I think that's because of the transgenderism, the gosh, the not adoption, but the surrogacy. That's just railed a lot of people against it. But yeah, legalize the same-sex marriage. So that was signed, and those are the only things that was done. So because of that, I'm going to put Illinois on the other side for the blue. Now we have Indiana. There was a law banning same-sex marriage. I don't know if that one was passed, but then there was one in '97, and it forbade the recognition of same-sex marriage. And I'm pretty sure that passed. Why did I stop doing that? Sorry, I'm just looking at my stuff. Oh wow. Okay. I just completely just over some of this. Yeah, I don't know what those amendments should be, but they should be something. So the House killed one of the amendments beforehand, and then 2011 it was not voted on by the people. Recent efforts and amendments to ban same-sex marriage have been attempted, so Indiana is more than likely on the red category. People have been trying and we haven't success, so we're going to just put them there. I also, excuse me, I can't believe I just like completely glazed over. So in 2009 they recognized Ohio. Wow, I sound Hawaiian now. Idaho, there we go. So Idaho, I think this one, when I was reading through it, it was kind of rough to figure out like what do I need to grab. So legalized same-sex marriage. The Idaho's code, though, says that only a marriage between one man and one woman is valid. There was attempts at a constitutional ban, but that was unsuccessful. 2005, there was a law to do the general neutral languaging, and rough ban attempts make this risky. Oh, so this one was kind of like in the middle. I couldn't figure out which one I kind of wanted to put it in, but because of the recent law for gender neutral language, the only reason that you do that is because your permission of the same-sex marriage. So because that was signed and passed by the legislatures, I put it over in blue. Because if you're not, if you're a gay, you should definitely be in Idaho or any of the other 7 other states. Kansas, 1997 became a law and it was signed. Amendment 1 supports defining marriage as a civil contract between one man and one woman. It passed the House and the Senate, and it was approved. 2017, they tried to control Z it by undoing Amendment 1, but Amendment 1 still stands with 70% of the voters in 2005 because of a somewhat more in the middle, because it's been about a decade from when it was introduced and a decade now. Given that they failed, I'm going to assume that that has stayed. And because of that, I'm going to put Kansas in the red. Given that it's also right next to Oklahoma, too, I feel very confident in saying that Kansas would be akin to Oklahoma. And because of that, I'm going to put it on the red category. So Kentucky, 1998 became a law. It banned same-sex marriage overwhelmingly. And then it was signed. Amendment 1, 75% of people supported one man and one woman, and declaring any other legal status defunct. The state constitution defines marriage as between one man and one woman. Given that that's still there and it wasn't contested out, I'm going to put Kentucky on the red side. So because it hasn't been contested yet, and because it hasn't been contested yet, it may never. So, and honestly, there may have been attempts, and I just didn't even write them because they weren't successful. Louisiana. So they've done 2 laws in 1988 and 1999. Those laws banned same-sex marriage, and those were signed. We had an Amendment 1. I did another one. And it supports defining marriages between one man and one woman. They tried to repeal the ban, but it was rejected. 78% is pretty high for an amendment 2 decades ago, and given that they tried about a decade ago, a little less than a decade ago, I highly suspect that they will join the red category, meaning that, um, Louisiana is on this, wouldn't allow same-sex marriage. Maine has a law banning same-sex marriage. It passed both chambers, so it used to not be with same-sex marriage. 2009, it unbanned same-sex couples to marry. It's was signed, and then there was question one, which banned same-sex marriage, and that was 53% to repeal it. So 53% of people were actually against um, the state trying to unban the same sex uh, couples from marrying. But 3 years later in 2012, question one was, which I think is really funny. Question one takes out question one. Question one, meaning the 2012 one, it supported marriage license to same sex couples, me essentially giving same-sex marriage. And so that was passed with 52%. So somehow they lost 5%. Um, Maine, I put it over in the blue category because that was a decade ago. That number probably has grown because there's a lot of people that don't really have they kind of are like, well, it's part of the law, and then they're also just like, you do you, man, which is just gay. Which is even gayer than actual being a homosexual. Um, I know I was gonna have a few zingers here and there. So I put it over in the blue category because that's where it is. Maryland. So this one was rough to read. That's why reviews there. So in 2012, there was a law and it was signed by the governor. Question 6 was a voter or was a veto referendum against a certain law, specifically, I think the law beforehand. It allowed same-sex couples to obtain licenses. So 52% of people supported same-sex marriage at that point. Maryland, again, has grown probably in that manner because of just opinions. Then we also go into like the House of Reps. They currently have about 2.5 times more Democrats in the House, which is indicative of the current consensus of the state. And then, of course, the Republicans are like less than a third in the Senate. So Maryland's probably in the blue category. Massachusetts. Again, this one was rough because it was hard to read some of this. So few real attempts have been made to go after same-sex marriage. They kind of just like ruled it. In 2004, there was a case that ruled that same-sex marriage was legal due to the state's equality amendment, and it was actually the first state to allow the same-sex marriage. There are barely any Republicans in the office, so it's very Democrat controlled. Because it's Democrat controlled, Democrats who are very happy with the homosexual movement put them over in the blue category. Because why wouldn't they? Whitmer. So Michigan. I put this over in red. Sorry, I forgot. We're gonna find out why I put it in red now. So 95, there was a law to ban the same-sex marriage, passed overwhelmingly, signed. 95, there was banning the out of state same-sex marriages. That was also signed. We have a proposition 04-2. It bans same-sex marriage and civil unions, which is a plus. Supported the definition of one man and one woman as a marriage. That passed with about 59%. But that was 2 decades ago. But recently, there was 2023, there was a law for gender neutral language and to repeal the ban, and that failed. Now, the House and all, I think, is splintered. The Michigan's House is kind of like it's Democrat controlled, but like one member sways and it's done. So, um, that this is kind of Michigan's in a toss up. It's literally in a toss up state where it's like statistically, I can't say that it couldn't because 2003, the fact that it didn't pass Mind you, it was a different Congress than the one that I'm showing. But given that they couldn't take it out in 2023 and they have the law passed already, there's a kind of a groundwork of being banning same-sex marriage. And given that the ban has not been repealed, even though Obergefell kind of neutralizes it, makes me suspect that Michigan would actually be supportive of or would be anti same-sex marriage. So Minnesota. We just talked about Minnesota. Um, So this one I had to do rapid, so I was ready for tonight. But it's very pro-trans. 2013, it did a law enacted after voters rejected an amendment banning same-sex marriage, and it got 51% of support. It's got walls, and the government's kind of split again. And because of that, and because there's a actual law on the books that indicates so that same-sex marriage is allowed in Minnesota, and given that it's kind of a toss up currently, I don't feel confident in saying that it's going to be um, repealed anytime soon. So because of that, I put them in the blue category. Now, Mississippi. There's an executive order that a Republican governor signed in 1996 for same-sex marriage. 97, there was a law that banned same-sex marriage, and that was signed. So one upping again. Mississippi just like doubled up, or actually tripled, because we come to Amendment 1. It supports defining marriage as between one man and one woman, and providing same-sex marriage not be recognized. Passed overwhelmingly and was approved and got 68 and 86%. Now, there hasn't been anything to contest it, which makes me suspect that Mississippi is red. Yeah, because the executive order is like one level, and then there's like more established would be the law, and then we have the voters voted on it, which put it part of the Constitution. So that makes me suspect that they will be voting for a whatchamacallit, the red side. Okay, we are getting to a somewhat not necessarily a halfway point, but I'm gonna take 2 seconds of my time. Um, so it does if anything, if anyone's like, "You're wrong. You're not aware of this or that," speaking out. But, oh gosh, I need 1 second just to, like, gosh, sitting in this chair for I've been sitting in it already, so the fact that it's, like, more is not exactly surprising. Um, but yeah, let me continue on this, man. Okay, maybe I am gonna skip the Indian tonight. Maybe I'll talk about it in a reel or something, which y'all should do. There's a Instagram link down below, as well as the other related links. If you guys could hit those up. If you're on Twitter, or Twitch or whatever, if you go to like my home spot, you'll find links. If you're on the line, there's a high probability that you know exactly where to be going to. I just need to ask you to go there because what's ironic is I saw a video where it says like if you ask people, they'll actually do it, which sounds weird. Um, but yeah, but if you're watching in any form, if you are not in either subscribe, follow, or I think that's it. Rumble does the same. If you give me a like, preferably this, like being this. If you at Twitter, give me a heart. If you're on anything else, you can give me a thumb. That would be nice. If you're gonna give me this one, I'll be love that. If you're gonna give me this one, at least write me a comment. So, excuse me. Missouri passed in 2004, where there's this if you've been keeping up with dates as I was doing all these, 2004 to 2006, there were a lot of amendments passed. And even more than that, there's a couple of laws just a little bit before then. And I don't know what kind of started some of this. I think some of it was Maryland, which we passed already. But I think Maryland was like one of the very first states to do it. And because of that, everyone kind of like reacted. But anyway, so we got 71% indicating support for a marriage between one man and one woman. They tried a Control Z amendment like 3 years ago. It failed to even get out of the ground. The voters repealed voter repealed. Um, okay, I'm missing words on that, but I think there was a voter initiative to repealed the ban on same-sex marriage, and it didn't appear on the ballot, so they didn't have enough numbers. 2024, the Senate rejected a same-sex repeal bill. So Missouri's been keeping same-sex marriage behind closed doors, specifically the closet doors. The House has, at least of this current year, has been very Republican leaning, and because of that, I highly suspect they'll be in the red. Montana, the one that looks like Joe Biden is sniffing children. You know, the like the side view. Oh, sorry, I just popped. Okay. So in 97, there was a law that banned same-sex marriage and civil unions. Um, so it banned same-sex marriage and civil unions. Good on Montana. 2004, there was initiative 96, and it basically did the same thing and only recognized marriage as thus. That passed with 67%, so good. There was a Control Z law that was done it's currently in committee, and it more than likely will die because there's 58 of state Republicans and 64% of the state senators are consistent of Republicans, meaning there's a 60%, give or take, halfway of Republicans in everything. So that's a majority. So they just need to hold their ground together and it'll be fine. So Montana's on the red side. Nebraska, 2000, there was an initiative 416 that provided that marriage was between one man and one woman, and that's recognized. That was 70%, so it's a high percentage. Control Z law was done in 2016, and that failed to add the one to repeal the same-sex marriage and another to add gender-neutral language to the bills. 2021, there was a ballot measure to repeal same-sex marriage ban. That went through committee but died in House. 2023 into 25 similar measures were proposed and then they failed. So Nebraska has been killing these repeals of the ban of same-sex marriage. Given that, I highly suspect that they would go to the red category. Now Nevada in 2000 and 2002, because for some reason I also realized while watching this, some of the state legislatures, you actually have to you have to pass a bill in one session, then you have to pass the bill in the next session, which is so weird because some reps may not even be there. So they vote for it once and then a different rep of the same district votes for it. It's crazy. Question 2 was up. Is this the one that had 2 question 2s? Yes, it did. Okay, hold on. So, 2000, 2002, that should be the top one first. So 70% of people supported that marriage was between one man and one woman, which is funny given Nevada has Las Vegas. I was surprised that actually happened. 2013, there was a repeal. It passed the Senate and the House. It would have needed to pass the next session, but the Republicans showed up and whacked it out of the area. Gender neutral language was trying to for a law was signed in 2017, and then from 2017 to 2019, a repeal amendment. So it passed the Senate both times, flying colors, and the House the second time, and then the voters actually approved. So if we go back to this, voters actually approved it with 62. So inverse of what had happened almost a decade and a half ago. So Nevada is definitely on the blue if they recently voted about a decade ago. So, or half a decade ago, I highly suspect that they would be, and even the next 2, and now mind you, those were after Obergefell. Again, this is where I say, just because Obergefell though was there, people need to understand that you still should have an opinion on it, even if you're well, with Obergefell now, Obergefell's about to go. So I don't know why people were assuming that it couldn't get erased. But you can see that the support grew in the House for it. More than likely, that was a selling point for people to be elected. But Nevada more than likely, because of the time frame, is going to be on the blue side. So, I'm getting there. What do I have? I got maybe 11 more states before I go rapid. So we're getting it. New Hampshire. So there's a law that made same-sex marriage invalid. And I think that was passed. And then in 2019, and then in '09, there was another law that recognized civil unions from the outside. It had multiple back and forths. Eventually, it legalized same-sex marriage, and then it was signed. There was a Control Z law, so it would be banning same-sex marriage, um, but that failed. So, given that it failed beforehand, before Obergefell, highly suspect that support for anything like this has not grown, and because of that, highly suspect New Hampshire would be on the blue side. So New Jersey, it previously held civil unions. 2021, there's a law that codified same-sex marriage, and that was voted overwhelmingly towards homosexuals. And because of that, I highly suspect it's blue. It happened about 4 years ago. There's a high suspicion nothing's changed, except the amount of gay people in New Jersey. Now, New Mexico. I think this was red in America First, but I'll show it later. New Mexico. There was a case that legalized same-sex marriage. It's the I'm tired. Gringo v. Oliver. I know that says an E, but I'm just gonna leave it in N. 2019, there's a law to add the gender neutral language, which as we're seeing very common themes across this entire thing where it's like a case is acted against the Constitution Amendment and thus declaring it unconstitutional. Which I also think I really got to ask this question, just as an aside. How do you make a constitutional amendment unconstitutional? You're basing laws based on the Constitution. The Constitution, which has been rewritten to have this amendment. How does that get taken out? Like, I may be asking what seems like a high question, but it's like, how how do you say, like, "Oh, this amendment's unconstitutional," when it's part of the Constitution? Like, I can't be the only one that's going like, "Huh?" But anyways, 2013 legalized same-sex marriage. 2019 the gender neutral, and that passed overwhelmingly. Completely, there was no one in opposition. So New Mexico's, that was 5 years ago. And if you're gonna qualify, if you're gonna lose on language, then you'll lose in person. So they go to the blue. New York. Oh, I skipped this one. This was just rapid. They have a Equality Act that was in 2011, signed by Como. I put them in blue because I highly suspect that's where they were. But they did the Marriage Act by like the law, and I don't think they did anything else. And because of that, the only thing that they've done successful is that, and that's on the books still. So because of that, I highly suspect New York will be blue. Big shocker there. North Carolina, sorry. Yeah, sorry for the alphabeticalness of this map, but that's just how it is. New Carolina. That's funny. North Carolina, 1996. They banned same-sex marriage overwhelmingly. 2012 Amendment 1, 60% of voters thought marriage was between one man and one woman, and it stopped civil unions, which is the best. 2015, they tried a law to repeal, or they're trying to repeal the ban on same-sex marriage. That's probably in this session. I hadn't looked at it that deep. I highly suspect, though, given that no other challenges but that have been established, I have a feeling that North Carolina, which is also kind of in the South, is going to be on the red category. Based on what has been done, because you got to get an amendment to take out this, you got to get another amendment to get out Amendment 1. And given that there's a lot of faithful Christians probably in North Carolina, I'm going to suspect that they're going to not accept same-sex marriage. Now, North Dakota. 2004, there was a Measure 1. It supported the one man and one woman, 73%, which is really high. 2017, they tried to do gender neutral language. That failed with a 2-to-1 ratio, or a 1-to-2 ratio. 2015, there's a resolution. It failed the Senate, but it didn't pass. But it passed the House. So, and that was the resolution was to appeal to the Supreme Court to do exactly what they're doing now. So yeah, but there's a high percentage of Republicans in the House and the Senate. I suspect North Dakota is the red, and I'm gonna itch my nose real quick. Okay, so excuse me. God grief. Sorry. Just sitting in this chair for hours on end. I've been up here since like 5. So, and then yeah, and now it's like 10. Yeah, I'm skipping the Indian. Um I'm just tired after doing this. It's a lot of data. That's the problem. There's too much data. So, anyways, Ohio 2004 it banned same-sex marriage, and that passed and was signed. State issue 1, defining marriage was between one man and one woman, 61%. 2013, though, they tried an initiative to repeal the ban on same-sex marriage. That failed. There is a high percentage of Republicans in the state government, so because of that, I put Republic or Ohio in the red category. Now we get into my state, my home. This is my home. It I this is my home. Um, so in 75, 96, there were laws to defining marriage between one man and one woman. We also didn't recognize any same-sex marriages from out of state. Question 711 from 2004 was passed with a 76% ratio. The House and Senate voted for it majorly in the affirmative. There was a resolution passed in about a decade to urge the Supreme Court to reaffirm that marriage was between one man and one woman. It passed both chambers, so I think it was sent. So this is successful. Oklahoma actually doing good for once in this area. Because of that, definitely putting Oklahoma in the right category. Oregon, there was a ballot measure, 36, supports establishing legal and valid marriages between one man and one woman, and it passed with 57%. Now, the problem with that, though, is Oregon changed. 2015, it codified same-sex marriage and gender-neutral language. Hi, Crash Cannon. Welcome to the break off from me just being a computer. What was I talking about? Codifying same-sex marriage, gender neutral language was in 2015, which is around the time of Obergefell. That was a law, and I'm pretty sure it was passed. Even though I didn't write it, I think it passed. 2023, there was a resolution that supports a right to same-sex marriage, abortion, and gender-affirming care. It died after introduction and Senate approval. So Senate was getting dangerously close to be Senate approved that, which is rough. Republican control, though, is pretty abysmal in Oregon. And because they codified same-sex marriage and they did the gender neutral language, I highly suspect Oregon would be part of the blue states. Yes, Oregon has fallen. And because of that, they would support gay marriage. Now we get into Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, 96. It banned same-sex marriage, overwhelmingly signed. Efforts to amend the state constitution were up and down. They tried. Both sides, I think, were trying, and both sides kept failing. 2021 Control Z ban. It was introduced in the House and died. And then there was one voted in 2024, but it needed the Senate's vote. So, yeah. Republicans, oops, I did that wrong. So, sorry, the Senate is, Pennsylvania is pretty weak. They had Dr. Oz having to defend their ass. Um, but we have our share of 50. The Republicans have a little bit of a edge in Pennsylvania. So I'm gonna put that um, Pennsylvania is would go against gay marriage because the law is still in the books and nothing has been done, meaning that it's kind of in a state of constant war. And because it's in a state of constant war, it technically is a success. So I'm going to put them over in the getting rid of gay marriage because they don't have gay marriage where they are, or they would have. Now, could that have changed? Sure, but we'll see. A lot of this also, like I would have to put out the phrase of like, just because like I think this would happen some of these measures that I'm using to base off some of this, meaning like with Pennsylvania, like the ban, it didn't work. Well, that means okay, well they must be because it's not working, it must be because they're um anti same-sex marriage, but it could just be that the bills failed. Um or it could be that, you know, they tried the state amendment, but um uh, I moved and I lost my point. Um Crash Cannon, why does Michigan surprisingly have a total ban on gay marriage? Hold on. We're going way back. I'm not going that far. I was about to go to M's. I'm on P. I ain't going that far. So let's look at Rhode Island. I'll give Crash Cannon like a second. So Rhode Island, 2012, there was an executive order to recognize same-sex marriage out of the state. 2013, it legalized it, and it passed both chambers and signed. The only reason that they had any problems was, funny enough, the Catholics, because there's supposedly a high percentage of Catholics in Rhode Island. Not Catholic enough, it seems, because even though the Republicans in the House of majoritively, those numbers can't be true. No, these numbers, there's something wrong with these numbers. No. Let me go. I gotta check these out. I butchered something. I didn't write one number or something. Because if the Republicans share 4 senators, I wouldn't doubt that. But it can't be 75. Did I just forget to do this? There's a fair chance because I copy and pasted it. So there's a fair chance I just like completely um ah that's the issue. That's how many Democrats are there. That's what the 64 is. We only have 10 Republicans in the state house in Rhode Island. So that should be the other way around. So and then 4. Yeah. So the Democrats really control Rhode Island. So again, how the hell is it Catholic? But anyways, um yeah, so Republicans are hardly in Rhode Island. Highly suspicion that it'd be fine. Besides, it was the law legalized same-sex marriage before Obergefell, meaning it's Rhode Island. To be fair, Rhode Island also allows incest, I think. I thought there was something that Rhode Island is okay with incest with like certain parameters or something. I'm not gonna look it up again. I did a video about it, I think when I was talking about abortion and the 3 exceptions, and it was because like incest is essentially like it's either consensual or it's grape. And if it's grape, then all the grape rules apply. And if it's consensual, then it's just why are you breeding life that's an abomination made in the image of God, but definitely going to be you're going to have to put on some specs. Um Michigan has been a hold on. I can't read squat tonight. Because Michigan has been a Democrat stronghold at the state for almost a decade now since the Flint water crisis. Well, that's probably why. Um, oh gosh, you're gonna make me go to Michigan now. Where's Michigan? Hold on. C. There we are. Um, yeah. Not really. It's not a Democrat stronghold because 58% or 58 of the 101 seats in the House are filled with Republicans. So then what is that? How much is the other side then? Hold on. 52. So there's 6 more state reps, but there's 2 less senators than the Democrats. So I don't think Michigan is overrun. It definitely doesn't have um, a bent like the other states, but not like in Oklahoma or in Rhode Island. Rhode Island would make sense, but you're making it sound like Rhode Island. It's like Rhode Island. Rhode Island is a Democrat stronghold more than Michigan. Excuse me. So South Carolina, moving on. 96, there's a law. It passed and it was signed. 2005, Amendment 1, 78% approved it of the state. It banned same-sex marriage. 2017, there was another amendment. Why? I don't remember why I put that. Oh, because I think they also have the weird rule where you have to like vote for it twice. So the House oh, no, the Senate and the House, sorry. I did this one, like, 2 seconds ago. I should remember this. The House and Senate had to ratify the amendment, so they just redid another vote. So, South Carolina, given that it's highly the Senate is completely almost filled with Republicans, high percentage of the amendment, which was about 2 decades ago, were for, and then we got, about a 3 to 4, 75% of the, the Republicans, so it stands there. Um, okay, so I put it over in the red category. Okay. What you looking at, Chris? I can explain at some point the screwed up laws around voting in Detroit pretty much guarantee Democrats will win at the state level almost every time going forward. And it's Detroit when it's Detroit, I wouldn't doubt it. Um okay, so now we're going into hold on before I look at the next slide, because I know what the next slide is. I don't know, I don't remember these slide numbers, but I so we're at 40 states. We've gone through 40 states. Oh gosh, it has felt like an hour and 40 minutes. As I said, this was far more technical than I wanted to be, but it kind of had to be. So we're at 40 states at this point. It was about 8 o'clock, and I had to get this done because it was taking me some time. So I rapidly did the last 10 states. So currently we're at a 21 to 19, which was very saddened to me because that isn't good. We're at barely a halfway mark out of 50 or 80% of the union. So the next slide, this is a rapid round. So we still have so we got Vermont, Virginia, and Washington. So I'm just gonna quickly go through stuff that I think uh is reasons why I think it's blue and why they're red. So Vermont, it has a 2009 law it passed. It was also the first to introduce the civil union, so very friendly to the homosexuals. So I put them over on the blue side. Virginia, 75. Um, 75, there was a law. There was also an amendment. There was an effort to remove the amendment. The House and Senate is about 55. There was also a 2020 repeal on the ban. So I'm going to put Virginia in the blue category. I might be wrong, but given that the House is 50-50, this is another one where it was like I kind of just had to find a place. Given that the House and Senate is basically 50-50, and even though the governor is Republican, but there's been efforts to get the amendment removed. I actually forgot to look up this amendment. Wow, that's on me. The Marshall Newman. What are we looking at with that? Crap. Excuse me. Virginia Ballotopedia. Forgot that. So 2026, they've removed the same-sex ban. Oh, there's something else. That was not the one I meant to look at, but interesting enough, that is what we were talking about. So I guess there are voters trying to remove the stuff. So question 1 is amendment that defines marriage as solely between a man and a woman. Okay, so and that was passed. Yes, 57%. This is also why I said it was rapid. I just had to write crap down and then hope it was okay. If I didn't get it, I didn't get it. But so because they passed something, but there's been efforts to kind of remove it, the House and Senate is kind of split. Um, I put it over in the blue category. I'm now thinking I shouldn't. You know what? I'm just gonna keep it there. Because there were efforts to remove the amendment. There's still an effort to remove the amendment. So because of that, I kind of want to I want to keep up with what it was. So, yeah, I think I'll keep where it is, Virginia where it is, because just because there were laws beforehand that's happened before with California, I don't think Virginia is because it's got a 50-50. I don't think it'll be able to reestablish it. Um, Gosh, I need to look at that again. Hold on. Let me look at this. Um, because I did something. Hold on. Legalization. Gosh. Well, there's an effort to get that banned on 2026, which makes sense. Oh, 2023. Here we are. That's where I got it. That's where I finally got it. The Virginia Senate passed a bill that explicitly legalizes same-sex marriage in the state code, ensuring that marriage between two peoples are recognized regardless of their sex, if signed by Youngkin. So I think from there I put in that it was that same-sex marriage is fine in Virginia. Virginia doesn't care like it should, which is weird because you think it would. But 2020, yeah, it was successful. So yeah, that's where I'm getting it. Okay. I don't know why Virginia I just like blanked on. And then Washington, I'll get to Chris in a sec. Washington, because they've got a law that and then they also permit civil unions. So as I said, rapid round. So there's 3 more to the 19, meaning there's 22 states. What do you know? 22 states. That's 22 more than we should have. 22 states that we have an allowance of either homosexuality, civil union, same-sex marriage, all that jazz. If total votes don't match the total registered voters, Detroit is not allowed to be recounted. Lol, you can't make it up. What? Hold on. Getting a recount in Detroit is pretty much illegal. It's extremely screwed up. I wouldn't doubt it's Detroit. I thought it's supposed to have a reputation. Not in a good way. If total votes don't match the total, Detroit is not allowed to be recounted. Interesting. Okay. Anyways, moving on. South Dakota, 2006 amendment, practically like others. They've killed at repeals. 52% wanted the amendment, so that's pretty low, but they've kept killing all the attempts to repeal it. So because of that, I put it in the red category. 1996 law and a 2006 amendment won 80% approval. All that is in Tennessee, so I gave Tennessee to the red. Texas, it has 2 laws that were earlier, 1973 and 2003. Those were laws. The Control Z law failed in 2013. 2005, there was a Proposition 2, 76%. Given that it failed at one point, I'm going to say Texas is red. And given that's in South, I'm going to hope that that's the case. Utah, surprisingly enough, as a Mormon stronghold. 1997 law and 2004 amendment. 66 passed, which Mormons, get your people under control. I thought that was your whole shtick. Sorry. But anyways, West Virginia state laws define marriage. 2014 case. There are 90% plus Republicans in the state. Like 90% of the state legislatures are Republicans. High probability they could pass whatever they want. They're kind of like Oklahoma. Because of that, I put West Virginia over in the red category. Wisconsin. I'm going to have to do this for 5 seconds. Wisconsin, 2006 amendment, 58%. The legislatures are kind of half with a slight bent towards the Republican. Because of that, I'm going to put it over in Wisconsin in the red category. And then Wyoming, there's 2 laws and the Republicans own practically the entire legislation. So I'm going to just put it over in the red category. So because of that, this is your map, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to flop down here. So this is your map, ladies and gentlemen. This is the map. This is where, if it's red and you're gay, you don't want to be there. If you're gay and you're in one of the blue states, well, then you don't have to move. But anyone else? So Oklahoma staying strong. The South is maintaining a unity. Then we just kind of have a little bit of a like Midwest kind of reaching up to Maine type stuff, and then we kind of got like more of the rural counties. Um, but yeah, for some reason though, the coasts kind of lost. Virginia is kind of TBD somewhat. Virginia, I think, would just need to be attempted, and maybe it wouldn't, but I highly suspect it would fail. And then what was it? Arizona just needs to get tighter up, and it might do that. I forgot what made New Mexico a problem. But yeah, but Alaska and Hawaii we talked about. Hawaii was like one a problem, but yeah. So 28 to 26. So meaning there's 6 extra states that think homosexuality is wrong or same-sex marriage is wrong. So that's pretty good. We're not in the minority like we are in the abortion, which funny enough, I'm gonna do another one of these for abortion. Uh, but fortunately, hopefully I'll finish that one on time. Um, so yeah, remind me anyways, I have cleanup to do for the show or like my next week. So this I'm gonna hit one more. So this is America First Post is on the left and I'm on the right. So we can see from this map, New Mexico still blue, but Arizona we differ on. Oregon we differ on. Colorado we differ on. He thinks I don't know who did this map. I don't know who did this map. But I don't I don't get Colorado, the weed central, how that wasn't blue. Um, I like we disagree with Oregon and Arizona, but he's labeling the red means it's a flat out ban. I think Colorado got rid of its ban. So I don't know what I don't know what weed they're smoking. We keep up with the Minnesota or the Minnesota, Iowa, and Illinois. That stays in sync. Michigan for Crash Cannon over here um, is red and validated. So Virginia, we disagree on. But anywhere else in the coast or from New York up with New Jersey, Maryland, and everything else, the same. So the only places we really disagree with, or that I got a problem with America First Post, because he had 32 to 18. So I'm saying there's 4 different states that he's got wrong. So there's Arizona, Colorado, Oregon, and Virginia. Those are the 4 states that are different. Again, though, they just like flopped it. I think it was said it was created by something, but I think if you actually go through it, this is the accurate map of homosexual or the same-sex marriage. Utah, I think the reason that Utah is not corruptible is because of the fact that it is a field of Mormons. Um, but yeah, we need to there's gonna be some states that are gonna let it through. Arizona needs to grow a pair of balls. Colorado needs to quit smoking weed. Um, I don't even know what to do with the top hat guys and all that. The North is just the North. And then Virginia just needs to grow up hair as well. So yeah. So that is at least right now. Um, that is the map. Sorry, hold on. There we go. That's the map. The map. The map. Sorry, brain overloaded. I'm tired. I'm tired, ladies and gentlemen. So here's the thing. Excuse me. So here's the thing. This is the map, right? Let me go back to it. So this is the map, right? 28 to 22, right? I'm gonna shove over here. 28 to 22. Now, why would I talk about this, right? Like, if anyone has paid attention, anyone who's been here enough, you know full well that I don't just talk about crap unless if I got something else to talk about for it. Like, why would I talk about this? Like, legitimately, write in the chat, do whatever. What? Legitimately, say it out loud, fart it, think it. Um, don't poop it. That's just disgusting. But what? Why would I bring this up? Right? Why would I bring this up? Why would I bring up the states? Why would I bring up this map? Is it because I want to mog American First Post? No. Although that was a thought I had after this because I want to prove them because now I can at them and say they're wrong. No. What's actually happening here is something far bigger, and this is where we get into closer, because every big original idea has a closer, and the closer is very simple. The state's problem. So, what do I mean by the state's problem? And the reason I say the state's problem is something I referenced earlier as a throwaway. And the reason I mentioned that is because of the fact that this is remarkably close to what another situation that we've had currently, and why I wanted to talk about this. So, I say the state's question. So, why would I make the state's question? Because once Obergefell is gone, more than likely, who is going to be in control of same sex marriage? The governors? Nah, the states. And you know what the states have? Power. You know what the states also have power over? Abortion. And that is where Dobbs is kind of connecting to this. Dobbs sent the issue of abortion back to the states, meaning a Leviathan, as I said earlier, a Leviathan turned into a 50-headed Hydra. Congrats. We now have two 50-headed Hydras with chopped off heads here and there. You know how many heads are chopped off? 28 for same-sex marriage. Abortions even less. Abortions I think is less. I think we're at like 19 or something. We're actually abysmal on that. But the reason I say it's a state problem is, funny enough, connecting to what I was talking about earlier with getting into the state legislation. Because if we actually care for the children that were killed in Minnesota, we're going to have to apply laws. And the problem with applying laws is getting in office, and getting in office in the state legislature. Why is the state legislature important? Because that is where you can decide now same-sex marriage. If Obergefell is taken out, as everyone thinks it will be, then it will be up on the states. Now, what does a state consist of? People. What people? Representatives. Representatives of the populace. And the populace chooses whoever they want. And because of that, and not to treat you like children, but because of that, we have to now take these offices. We have to go into the system in order to make same-sex marriage, abortion, anything else you want to talk about. The only reason that the state has that authority, or does what it, or let me rephrase. The only reason the state goes either for or against same-sex marriage is because of the state legislature. I just went through laws that every state legislature went through, voter initiated and legislature initiative amendments. Those were all passed without needing the federal government. Those were all just focused on the people of X state. And because of that, we're going to have to get into the public sphere. We're going to have to get into the government. And this is where we are going to need an army, because let me look at, can I show this one more time? You have, different one. This entire area is a battlefield. Now, why do I say this is also a battlefield? Because that entire area, the red areas, we have to keep, maintain, hold our ground. The blue, we have to fight. But the problem is that we spend too many of our resources in blue. We need to ensure that red stays the way it is. So we're in a problem now, because like just with abortion, we're kind of losing because it's a 50-headed Hydra, and yet we don't want to go after the laws. And this is what's going to happen with same-sex marriage, is if you aren't going to, let's say like, Chris, I'm sorry, I'm using you. Let's say Chris isn't happy. Well, actually, no, you're fine, aren't you? Okay, Chris, I'm moving you to Minnesota. Let's say Chris was in Minnesota. Let's say Chris was in Minnesota. He didn't like Minnesota. He doesn't like walls. What is he going to do? Well, the answer is very simple. We are going to have to get into the offices of the state legislature, because that is the only place where we are going to have power to actually influence against the legalization of same-sex marriage, and by extension, the acceptance of homosexuality, which is a parent of the acceptance of transgenderism, which is responsible for the killing of 2 children, and not to mention the childhoods of several hundred others because they dare to wear a dress and they have a cock. I'm crushing out now. I love how I'm crushing out, and I didn't crush out during the discussion about the Annunciation school shooting. That I I can't explain myself some days. Um, but yeah, I have nothing written down, so I'm freehanding this again. Because for some reason I took longer on this than I thought I would. But I think that's about it. Like that is the whole purpose. Like I went through every state. Now every state of course has its own battle, it has its own people. Like it's going to take a while for sorry, I need to look at the map one more time. Like it's going to take a while probably for Minnesota where there are hardly any Democrat or Republicans in office. It's going to take a while to probably like fight back and actually do anything in this mode. Now, in other places like Virginia, there's a Republican governor. It's about 50-50. There's a fair chance Virginia might change, but that is going to require action, which I also was talking about earlier. It's going to require action and actually like put in the bills in order so that we could figure out where is the populace at currently, both in the House, the Senate, and the voters. Now, you can also do writer initiatives. Like, you don't even have to run for office. We just need the voter initiatives to bring in this constitution. But usually bringing in like some type of constitution, some states, like what was it? One state you had to ratify it, and so that required this Senate and the House. So again, we're kind of in the same issue that I was talking about, where we're gonna have to take over the state houses and state reps. Not like a revolution. No, fight against your incumbent. Why? Because maybe he's not the best incumbent, and maybe you may not want to. I'm repeating stuff I've said on other videos. I'm getting tired from saying it because I keep saying it over and over and over again. But if you truly want to make the world a better place, it's going to require action. And sometimes you can't just offload your problems to another. And hopefully he somehow psychically knows what to do. Maybe the reason that your state's in the way it is because it doesn't have you defending her. Because of that. So, gosh. It's been 2 hours. And I kind of want to talk about the Indian, but I'm kind of tired. And honestly, it's Friday. And I have something to do tomorrow, which doesn't really phase me usually. But I'm kind of also tired of looking at a computer because of the fact that my brain is hurting. I forgot to put on my blue light glasses for this entire thing. So like I've been like my eyes are just tired from staring at a screen for 20 hours or something. So anyways, why did I throw away chat? So anyways, I think I'm gonna do that there. I don't want to talk about the Indian truck driver, other than the fact that no. We need to remove him. And the reason I'm saying that now is because it's gonna be dead news in about a week or so. So yeah, the just as a brief, I guess I'll throw out the Indian that killed that family because he did the illegal U-turn and the family didn't recognize it, and now he's got like his petition which has like millions of Indians trying to defend him. It's really funny. There's a script been sent out because you could tell like everyone has like, the same lines. It's like he didn't do anything wrong. It was an accident. Um, I don't know. I'm just realizing I'm doing a shaking of the head. What else was it? There was something else that they did, but yeah. Then they're making some videos where they're just like staring into the camera. Um, yeah, and El Aura over there. But yeah, the Indian though he did it. It's not an accident if you purposefully are trying to do a U-turn, and in the process of the U-turn you killed a family because you weren't supposed to even use the U-turn because it's for official use only, meaning for cops and ambulances. You are neither. You're just a foreigner who doesn't understand jack squat about um, America because you came here illegally. Because, or did he come here illegally? I think he came here illegally. Came here illegally. I think he came in here illegally. You came here illegally, and you don't even care enough to know um, about. You don't care to assimilate at all. and like honestly, that is my main topic that I kind of want to get at is that a lot like I'm tired of these foreigners coming in. And yeah, you are a foreigner. You didn't you were not grown here. You have no heritage here other than what you are now growing. Um, I'm tired of these foreigners treating America like their home, and it's like your home isn't your home anymore. It's also really funny. There's like a MP, which I think is like a like state rep for India, more or less, trying to defend her citizen. Yeah, come and collect him and keep him. And you know why you can't keep your people? Well, yeah, because Indians. um, yeah, yeah, I totally want to go visit India. Yeah, just as much as I want to like chop off one of my testicles, like um. I can't believe I'm using that joke. I'm recycling it from a different joke that I use it for. Um, but yeah, that's essentially the gist. It's like I'm tired of these foreigners who like don't actually care about our laws at all, who come here, treat America, and like pillage it. Um, kind of like Vivek. And it's not because he's Indian. No, it's because he's a foreigner. Yeah, he may have been born here, but he has no heritage here except the one he's grown recently. America's an idea, right? Yeah, and then of course the remorse. It was so funny watching the video. He looked at the cops like, "Why are you so worried? I need to be moving on. I'm going to be so late." Gosh. You know what? I may still have that as a bookmark. I'm gonna take a look at I'm gonna take a look at what's there. Oh, I hit it, but that's not what I need. Okay, give me like 2 seconds. Nancy Mace is doing things. I love how I use my bookmarks for like the show and everything else, but it's like I can I throw in other things of like I need to come back and watch you. Oh, there's like 11 of you watching on Twitter. Hi, I can't see you guys, so um let's see. I want to read the stuff. It's really funny. Okay, so oh, they took out the bots. The bots are finally gone. Okay, hold on. Let me show this. I'll just show it. I don't mind it. Screen share window. So this is. Oh, sorry. Need to head back. So this is the guy. This is the guy who killed the family. So what's interesting is he's got over like 3 million people, but you know it's interesting because you go to where is it? Where is it? Comments. Yeah, see, these are all the Indians who are just posting videos, just staring at the camera. Like, but I can't hear her. It's like you just have this guy. He's just staring at the camera. Or at least I thought it was. You have why guys can't you operate a camera? Like, bruh. So, I can't find it. Hold on. I have to head back then. So I love this. What the hell does that mean? Wait, I think this guy's this guy's making fun. Okay, the more signatures this petition gets, the more America will wake up to the fact that these people don't belong in our country. Total. Okay, we got Jill pranking over here. I think he needs set free. Broken language. I wrote a tweet. I thought it was really funny because it's like this hurts my brain because I'm very German, but I'm also very much of a grammar Nazi. And gosh, broken English. Yeah. So we got here. Hi, I understand the driver made a wrong U-turn, and I truly feel sympathy for the family who lost their loved one, lost loved ones, boy. But it was an accident. I like how they always are coming back to, but it was an accident. Bruh, it wasn't an accident. He literally pulled a U-turn. He made a wrong U-turn. You literally admit he did something wrong. Like, it's not even an accident. It's not like he just, whoops, I'm having a stroke. And like he went and did the U turn. He purposely was like, well, I'm going to do a U turn. And then, um, gosh, you know what? Oops. Sorry. I didn't want to show that. There's nothing there, but, um, hold on. I need to go back down to, well, why was I going there? Oh, yeah. I'm ready to show the thing. Let me go back. Hold on. So I have it somewhere, but I didn't download it. That's where I'm at a disadvantage. It's only gonna require me like 2 seconds, so we'll be fine. Um, there we are. So you little twerp. American First Post, be free with your videos. I need them. Don't don't make me do this, boy. Okay, so oops, sorry. I somehow removed it and it so this is the video, mind you. This is the video of this whole thing of Hajar I don't care, sing. Right. So he's doing this U-turn and then he loses, of course there's a car in there. They're gonna show the yeah. Yeah, see, there's everyone's worried about, like, getting the family out, and then we just have, like, dun, 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 like what's interesting is that hold on, looking at this video, you can see that he's doing the U-turn in, like, starting in, I think, now, and you see him pulling off the road. Mind you, he's going across both lanes, so he's covering both, and then the car, like, shows up queue the moment he turns. Mind you, him turning, like, that distance has to be, like 50, like, even if that was a football field, moving at 70 miles an hour or 80, like, this was what, a turnpike? It could have been a turnpike, or a whatever. That's, pretty lengthy. Like, that's not a lot of length. Like, breaking at 70 miles an hour down to a slow, like, there's a reason in Oklahoma you had to used to, like, slow down in progressive steps from 80 to, like, 25 or 30. You know why? Because it takes a while for deceleration. But, of course, Dingus over here probably doesn't know deceleration because, American idea, right? Also, I'd like to comment, I didn't even realize this guy's stance is just weird. Um is he wearing a seat? Yeah, he's wearing a seatbelt. Bro, is that a sock? Is he got no shoes? Bruh. But anyways, I'm gonna play this one more time because actually I'm gonna go full screen for this because I want everyone to see the dumb nut over here. So again, he's making this is 0. This is about when he starts the U-turn. So he's been kind of maybe like chilling on the side, but it's like if you don't signal or anything, and even then, why are you stopping? More than likely, he didn't use his hazards. Like we can see right there, there's the car. That is going to there. That's not enough reaction time because, like, not only that, I also had to talk about like there's reaction time of them to see it, and then there's also the reaction time of you stopping everything because they could have been like talking and literally did a hold on, I'll come back to myself and then do it. But like boom. And then we have dun 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 right. Um so anyways, but what I want to get on to oops, sorry, I flipped it again. But what I wanted to get on is like, if you're in the car and you did this and then look back and then went, oh, you're gonna hit them. Like that was just going to happen. So, anyways, so this the he made a wrong U-turn. He didn't make a wrong U-turn. It was an accident. He purposely did it. In America, accidents happen every day, and sadly, lives are lost. But one thing to note: this driver is from another country, and that's why there's so much hate. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No. But when a white man decides to murder someone and actually does it, no one talks about it, no one posts videos. Please stop spreading hate and start thinking like a human being. This coming from the people that are literally like, isn't there a caste system or something in India that basically has class racism? Was it classism at that point? I love how I said I wasn't going to talk about this Indian, but then racism is just fueling me. I'm a comedian; it's allowed. So, um, this driver is from another country. Yeah, the driver that shouldn't have a license because he's not a citizen and thus he can't have um he can't, for crying out loud. I question whether or not he can read English. When I was coming to the Steubenville conference for this Catholic creators, there were so many Indian signs in like what is it? Hindi for truck drivers. And I'm like, there can't be that many. And then this happens like a month later, which is just insane. This was 6 hours ago. 6 hours ago that this guy posted this. There's so much hate, but winnow white men. I love though that the Indian capitalized this Indian is capitalizing on the fact that okay, well this one's a fat lie, but I love how he's capitalizing on the fact that a crazy transgender killed people with specifically hate for Christians and that being specifically of Catholics. But then there in your country, mind you, India, you literally put bounties on Catholic nuns. Notice I'm missing one finger. Put the message together. Uh, you're smart, right? Um, but yeah, no one posts videos. No, I saw videos of little kids running out of a church. You know why? Because they were being shot at. You dingus. This this guy is not do the crime. This guy is not do the crime. I can't even do the accent and not try to correct it at the same time. This guy needs jail time, then deported back to the hell he came from. Oh wait, no, this is normal guy. Yeah, because I love how it's like Jill, and Jill's trolling, and then there's Azir, I assume Azir, and then you have Gerwinder, and then Vanash, and then you just have Ryan. It's kind of like in 3, 2, 1 Penguins, where it's like Vigil, Mitchell, Kevin. You know, it's like that's how it's going on right now. This guy needs jail time, then deported back to the hell he came from. They have to go back. Okay. I was about to hit him on grammar. I think he's okay though, actually. So good American. Akash Deep. Give him a fair chance of living. That's not the question. Living's not his question. He was working for his family. We know punctuation. We know that he did mistake, but not intentionally. Do I need to play the video again? The intentional. Boy, he is not a criminal terrorist that he is getting 45 years prison. Give him justice. This is justice, boy. Hey, Jim. F this clown here illegally, can't speak English or obey traffic laws and signs. This is not a tragic accident. Thank you, white boy. This was blatant murder that wouldn't have happened had his butt had not been here illegally. And then we just have a person's name. Sneak. Okay, I think someone's trolling, but it was an accident. 45 years. His prison is not fair. It is an accident. Oops, same thing. Accidents should be treated like accidents, not like planned events. Pretty sure he planned the U-turn. Okay, I'm pretty sure this is a troll, but it was an accident. He made a terrible mistake. As you see, they keep just saying it's an accident. For some reason, they're trying to hope that gaslighting works. Not a deliberate choice to harm anyone. I'm pretty sure the U-turn does. You turn, you pay price. He was working hard to support his family like many of us, and one wrong decision changed everything. Yeah, that may be that him and his wife couldn't stop screwing each other. Like you want to talk about India's size. India's size may be growing because men don't treat women right in India. I thought there was something in India where they basically like mistreat women, or what was it? Is it in the other countries where it's like a lot of the Indians are like screwing with the women because they can because they're like, ooh, white women, we like them. They're pretty. It was an accident. He was not deliberate to harm anyone. Blah blah blah. You know, it's getting tiresome after this. There are so many criminals who did crime consciously, but roaming free around. Not saying he should be free, but should be the reasonable duration. He killed 3 people, man. We know he did wrong, but it's all about his life. Please do a right thing. It was an accident. He didn't do his own. It was an accident. As you can see, they cannot say anything but accident. He did not have a mistake, not a deliberate choice to harm anyone. He was working hard to support his family, like many of us, and one wrong decision changed everything. A 45-year prison sentence is no justice. It was an accident. He made a choice, not a crime. Well, that's wrong. As you can see, it was an accident. He made a wrong choice. Prison sentence wrong. Um, that's a troll. That's not a troll. But John 7:51. Does our law condemn a man without first hearing him to find out what he has been doing? Bro, are you literally trying to use the Christianity as a Hindu? You don't even believe this yourself. I got a problem with people that do that, who try to use other people's funk to be like, well, you should be a proper Christian. Bruh, you ain't even one yourself. What do you know about the Christian law? Unfortunate accent. Okay, I'm gonna let robbers go and then I'll be done. But it's like, Sky, it was accident. Please reduce sentence. 3 people are dead, gone forever, because some guy decided to do a U-turn on a highway. Good on Robert. I love how everyone's making fun of people now. Oh wait, I'll let Dylan go now. Damn. Damn, Brian. No, no. Damn, Brian. Damn. Gosh, I was not expecting Brian with that level of intensity. Damn. Oh, that I'm laughing as much as I was with Olivia and all the guys making fun of her for baking that cake. He made a mistake. He's made multiple mistakes. He shouldn't even been here in this country. Mistakes have consequences. 3 people are dead. They would have lived more than 45 years of their lives if they were still alive, but they're not because of his mistakes. He should be getting longer. And then Brian would no chill. I'll send $2 to you if you shit your fridge. You straight essers, go home. Gosh. Okay, I'm gonna just keep going down. Hold on. Okay, I want to do one more. Just one more. Just one more, and then we'll be fine. Oh, wait, here's a video. I wanted to look at a video. Hold on. I saw the video. Where does it go? Oh, no, that was a loading. Never mind. Okay, I'm gonna do one more, and then we're gonna cue into the wait, did I see one? Ooh, here's a vid. I'm not play like, yeah, play. Thing. Hold on, I'm gonna turn on my TV real quick. Oh gosh. You could I can tell. I have a feeling. I'm gonna stop it here, but I have a this sounds so much like it's a Indian trying not to sound like a white person. Or trying to sound like a white person. Um, okay, I'm gonna do one actual legitimate. Um, gosh, I can't even read that. That's Hindi right there. Um, okay, one more and then we're done. And then Nope, that's a copy paste. I'm not doing that. Copy paste. See, there's a lot of copy and pasting on this. Where everyone is literally just like complaining about the 45 or saying like it's an accident. It's like, bro, exactly. Um, I love here though. This guy, he just wrote like 5 days ago. He still has the like. I assume if I do this, yeah. So Netanyahu, no way. Oh, this dickhead. I say that because he just first sentence tells me that he just. I'll just say it. The van that collided also had brakes. Okay, from there, that doesn't matter in this case. But anyways, continue. And a driver who may have been distracted or texting or sleeping at the wheel or had very slow reaction time. So he's blaming the victims for not realizing that he was stopped on the highway within 3 seconds. Cool. It is hard to miss a giant white blob or something on the road and not hit the brakes, not skid, not even try to hit sideways instead of T-boning. It's not all on his fault. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they wanted to die and arrest this Indian. I also see that English speakers and citizens have made driving mistakes. Um, yeah, but we usually are, responsible, boy. And this country had an open border recently in the previous administration. So using immigration or improper entrance against is equally unfair and unjust. I love how you just skip the blame over that illegal immigration and you just assume that it's fine because it's like, well, you guys allowed it. So because of that, I don't want to say like, of course, the Indians, the Indian not blaming himself. But anyways, that was actually really fun. I like doing that. That was funny. I said I wanted to do that when I saw them because I was like, gosh, this is funny. But anyways, yeah, kick them all out. Like I'm tired. Like I don't see. Like honestly, I'm tired. Like this is a flow problem. Like that's where I'm gonna bring it back to. It's a flow problem. We keep pulling people in. The problem is that we have a lot of people in who shouldn't be here. Like we plug up the hole, we throw out the water, and then hopefully the boat comes back up to the surface. So before that, um, so we talked about enunciation real quick. We talked about the states, and then we talked about the sing guy because racism, it empowers people. But yeah, kick him out. I'm tired of these. I'm tired. I don't care at this point. Like I don't care if it seems racist. It's like if you're not going to assimilate, then there's no point. Like if you're not going to I'm kind of rejecting the like mixing pot. Like there's a mixing pot and then there's just anarchy, right? There's a huge difference between like, oh, I brought over my family recipe. It's called nuts and bolts and other things. And it's like, cool, this is a good dish. And then there's like, I can't drive to save my life. Okay, yeah, no, we're not doing that. So that is, I think, the end of it. Is it really? Wow. It's been 2.5 hours. And you all have been here. And I thank you for that. So, before maintenance tasks. So I had to do Friday because I was trying to do all this stuff. So I purposely chose Friday so we could all so I could get it done. Because it was a bit lengthy because I had to look at stuff and it's just like putting it in PowerPoint and other things. So that took a minute. So now here's where it gets funny. So I will not be live next week. Because I am intending to build my PC. All the parts finally came in. The CPU actually that we got, something was funky with the people who were trying to send it, so we had to refund it. But funny enough, I got a new board instead, so we kind of flopped out. I got a new motherboard and a new Intel CPU, so everything's new on the computer now instead of having the used motherboard from my brother. And so I'm intending to build that in the next week. I also have I have a Would You Rather game that I'm trying to get with a bunch of other Catholics to get on. like questions that I'd be asking them are like, if you were Pope, what would be your name? Would you rather, Pope blah 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 or Pope blah blah blah? Something like that. I want to get a pro and anti or a death penalty debate slash talk going. So I'm kind of talking with some people. That's also why I need the week. I need to have times to sit down and like send messages out to people. Um, I also have, I think, another idea for um Lizzie came after me on Twitter recently, so that kind of spawned in a new vid. So I need to send a message to two guys. After that, so I'm planning those, and then I really need my computer up because I need the gaming to be working. But the problem with the gaming is that I can't do it without the computer. So I need the computer up and running. When I finally get it up and running, which it shouldn't take me a week. It will take me a couple of days, and then I'll be like running it for a day or so, just so it's like everything's good. It's not dying on me. So my belief, right? My belief. But I need to test the computer of the gaming qualifications. So, to be fair, a lot of you are here for the politics more than probably the gaming, but I just want to give you a full overview. So, like, because of the fact that this takes time, I've got a lot of prep, right? Like, I talked about the death bounty one, but I also have like I want to go after McCall. So I got 2 takedowns for McCall and Blackburn. I got another like a style of this for abortion. We'll be covering that. Um, at some point, I'll be talking about a statewide with abortion. So I have ideas and I've got like things on the agenda, which I'll get onto. But I need a week at least to build the PC. So when I come back, I need though to slowly progress and have my computer build it and figure out if it's okay and competent. It's got like an i9 and a 5060 GPU. It should be like okay to do what I'm doing, which is streaming and playing at the same time. Hopefully, and it's not a mini ITX anymore. It's an ATX. So, um, but I'm gonna take that week off. So I'm gonna take like a week off, which I hate to do, but it's like I can't do streams good if I don't prioritize it. I can't half-ass streams. Um, I could if y'all want me to, but if I did that, I would have to pull in people, which is also getting into my problem of like I need to reach out to people, so I need to reach back out. I'm talking with Majorian real quick, so I don't know if anything's gonna happen. I need to message him back, because there's a fair chance I may be on next week, and there's a fair chance I won't. So, um, but I'll have to get back on or send him a message, but he probably ain't gonna read it since it's like whatever time there. So yeah, so I need a week to do the gaming. So build the PC, just kind of like get everything going. Because I do need because the Would You Rather games got about like 6+ people by now. So strategizing a time for everyone to like sit down and do it is gonna be a turd. Excuse me. And I guess I haven't asked Crash Cannon, but I bet you're on. Crash Cannon's probably gone actually. Now that I think about it, he probably ain't here anymore. He hasn't been voicing anything back. So, but if he was, he'd be interested in the Would You Rather. But I feel like he saw the message I wrote in the chat. So, but so we're gonna slowly though for the gaming. The gaming I'm planning on trying to do Lego Batman in 24 hours, but I'm not streaming straight 24 hours because I can't do that. Not because of the fact that I need sleep and my body should be sleeping, but because I don't want to spend 24 hours sitting in this chair. For crying out loud, I could barely handle the 2 hours here. So I'm gonna have 3 nights consecutively, or like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday type view, and I'm gonna stream. That'll be like when I come back, Lego Batman for 3 days. And the reason that I want to do that is to test out my computer, give it 8 hours of runtime, just kind of get it in the mode. Um, I also want to try like during the next week, I'm gonna be like testing out games because I thought about returning to Destiny. I don't know if I'm gonna do that anymore. Um, I'd rather be playing, like, either a Battlefield, because I played the beta for, like, 20 seconds because my computer was at, like, 90 degrees Fahrenheit after I got into it, so, like, I could only play for about, like, 10 minutes, and then I had to leave. But there's other games that I wanna play, but because my computer is just overheating every time I, like, practically turn it on. Rivals, for some reason, there's some weird funky bugs with it on my computer where it crashes every, like, 20 seconds, so I wanna see that. I told Javi from, Just a Catholic that I might play Fortnite with him, so, like, there's games that, like, I might be doing, but I need to figure out if they can work mixed with do I enjoy them, but I can't really tell if I enjoy them if I can't play them, which is kind of the problem that my computer has. So, but yeah, Magic will stay. I that will be fine. But, like a first person shooter I wanna play, so that's where, like, Splitgate, even though there's, like, 200 people watching, so it's like, okay. And then, Black Ops 6, if that ever comes out, I might play that, or Destiny 2. But I'd like to do Rivals maybe if I can. Like, Rivals was fun. Played Mantis, and, I got MVP as Mantis, which is funny because I was a healer, um, because I kept killing everyone. Um, so yeah, so that's at least like Lego Batman's gonna start me out, and then like I'm gonna test some things just normally, and then probably there'll be like a Monday I'll be testing out whatever, and hopefully it doesn't overheat. Um, and I hope I have everything. I should. I've got a CPU, a CPU cooler, memory, storage, a case, a what am I missing? Video card, stuff like that. Everything's new. Shouldn't need anything. I got thermal paste. Hold on, motherboard. That's what I'm forgetting. I got a motherboard, CPU, CPU cooler, memory, storage, video card, case, and power supply, which is all on PC part picker. So, but yeah, follow my Instagram. I'll probably post a reel over like how I built it, or like just like a piece by piece of it. But yeah, I don't know. As click the bell, notify of whenever I'm doing stuff. Check in periodically. I should not be back until not this week's Monday, but next week's Monday. Mainly because of the fact that I want to give myself a week. Um, Football is coming back, I think, this week. So I also timed it so nice, and I didn't even know that. But football is coming back next Thursday, so I'm probably gonna be watching so I gave myself somehow I thought I would be streaming that Thursday. It turns out I'm not because I need to build a PC. So, yeah. And I hear my Giants are doing okay now, so which is funny because I live in, Oklahoma. You'd think I'd be a Dallas guy, but I don't have the AIDS for it. That's such an inside joke in more manners than one. Because, like, not only do you have to know about the Cowboys' reputation, but you also have to know about AIDS. Anyways, so I think that's really just maintenance of just like I'll be gone. I might be talking with Majoran, so keep out for Monday. Um, I might send a message out. Again, follow me on Twitter. I post things there. Far more than I probably would on Instagram. Posts on YouTube are kind of like occasional, like kind of what this is. I'll probably have to post one again to say like, hey, I'm not live this week because I'm doing a computer, but I'll be doing this, this, and that. So, other than that, I think that's it. Unless anyone is about to yell something at me that I really need to talk about, but I will not be back unless if it's something really pressing. Like if we find out something about the Annunciation shooter or like 3 or 4 copycats show up, which please no, I swear. If that happens, that I might be back with a few others because I feel like that would be worthy of like so I know I wasn't gonna be on, but like life tells me different. But yeah, I think that's it. We'll figure out stuff later. Um, yeah, just look at queue out for kind of a death penalty talk slash debate. I haven't really figured out which one I want to do. I kind of don't want to do a debate just because it structures everything and it's like I have to be watching everything. But I've been talking with Davide. Davide seems like he's pro. He'd be wanting to take the affirmative of the death penalty. So um it could just be us. It could I don't know. I still need to talk to people. But, um, Yeah, so we got a death penalty talk. We have a would you rather game. There might be an apologetics drinking stream coming back, but I'll need time to grab stuff for that again. And then I got another potential idea for an apologetics kind of focused. So we'll also take a 5 seconds on that. What else am I missing? I said, didn't I say three? Hold on. Would you rather I said four. What's four? Oh, the apologetics, yeah, and then, of course, like, I may be, I'll be talking with Majoran recently and within the weekend, so we'll see what happens. Um, but yeah, and gaming will be back. Hopefully you guys could be there for the Batman. I'd appreciate at least, even if it's like 2 seconds, so that you can at least throw in chat. Because I'm using Restream to like gather everyone, so technically I can read every comment from YouTube, Twitch, and everything else under the sun. Because like I'm going to 4 places, so I kind of like having the Restream, so it's not just sent to YouTube; it's sent everywhere. So and everyone can interact with me all at the same time. So isn't that great news? But yeah, that is going to do us, I think, tonight. Yeah, I'm going on a sabbatical. And it's not really a sabbatical. It's just I need a break. Other than that, I guess it's good night to you all. Have a good night. It's the end of August. So good night, everyone. Hope to see you sometime else. If you want to hit that big red subscribe button or the follow button, that would help me out. If you want to give me a thumbs up or a heart, thank you for that. If you're going to give me a thumbs down or just you hate my guts, at least write why. Unless if it's just you just hate me, in which case, curious, but we'll just leave it there. So, anyways, but I'll say good night to you all, and I'm going off to I don't even know what I'm gonna do after this. So anyways, good night, everyone. Have a good day.